call the meeting forward at 5:30. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see we have a full house of people. Always nice to have people we can talk to. Hopefully you listen. I don't know. Excellent. Okay. Okay, we'll take Mr. Koenig, if you can please do an individual roll call.
Vice President Ocampo,
Present.
Jose Antonio Jimenez, Trustee Guadalupe Gilpis Pereira,
Here.
Trustee Leticia Garcia,
I'm here.
Okay.
Mr. Jimenez is not present.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Ms. Koenig, if you could please lead the Pledge of Allegiance for us.
Please stand. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Next on the agenda today is Spotlight. Do we have any Spotlight presentations today?
Yes, we have, Ms. Fletcher is going to recognize success in our migrant program.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for this opportunity to highlight some of the many successes of our migrant program, particularly speech and debate. We took a variety of trophies in the county trophies between first and second and third place for several of our schools. But one of the students I want to highlight in particular is Julio Pina. He's a sixth grade student from Frank Paul School. He took 2 first place trophies in prepared speech English and extemporaneous speech English at our county tournament. And his scores were so high out of all the participants throughout the county that he went to the state speech and debate tournament, where he represented Frank Paul in our district very proudly, and he took second place in English. So I'd like to recognize Julio Pina. And we have this certificate of achievement for him. He's here with his parents tonight. And this certificate reads, the certificate proudly presented to Julio Pina for outstanding achievement in the state of California Speech and Debate Tournament and 12th Annual Migrant Regional Tournament. So once again, congratulations, Julio. You see all his adornments that he has earned in these 2 competitions, and this certificate signed by our superintendent and Ms. Anzo. So thank you.
I think we'll do a picture if that's okay with people. Are there any more spotlights today?
I'm not aware of any more spotlights.
Okay, thank you, sir. And thank you, Ms. Fletcher, for that wonderful presentation. Okay. We move on then to the adoption of the agenda. I'll need a motion.
Get a motion to adopt the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Leticia Garcia. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by La Señora Gilpas. Any comments or any questions?
No, but I did, if I may, Mr. President, there is
a meeting going on at MLK, and I'm not sure if some of the parents, it's about rent control or something, viviendas. I'm not sure if maybe, but it's at MLK in case they're, uh-huh. It's not here.
Okay.
So there were some parents outside asking about that too, so
You want me to-
it's an art, yeah. if you want.
Dice la señora Gilpas que hay una junta en MLK sobre control de la renta. So, si hay alguna persona aquí que quizás se ha equivocado, pues deben de ir a MLK. Ese era el anuncio. Gracias. That was your concern. Are there any questions or comments on the agenda? No? Okay, well, Mr. Secretary, if you could do a roll call vote, please.
Ms. Gilpus Pereira? This is a yes or
We're doing a roll call
aye
vote.
or nay? This is a roll call vote?
Yeah.
Mr. Ocampo?
Yes?
Ms. Garcia?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. We move on to public comment concerning items on the open session agenda and/or non-agenda items. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There's no ceding of one's time to another. Okay, an individual wishing to address the Board of Trustees in open session, agenda items or other items may do so at this time. Starting time is 5:37. I believe we have Mr. Jorge Rojas wanted to address the board.
Yes, good afternoon, Superintendent, School Board Trustees, Cabinet. My name is Jorge Rojas, President of Monterey County Soccer Club. We have a membership of over 400 teams, which equates to about 10,000 plus members in the community. And the reason why I'm here is for a couple of reasons. One, I want to thank Mr. Boss and Mr. Anzo for giving us the opportunity to use the schools and also School Board Trustees helping us help our kids that live in the Montebello area have a facility to practice and play. The other concern is there's 3 individuals keep coming, complaining for every little single reason. They go to the schools and they videotape the kids and they are irritating our parents and they're creating a hostile environment. I was advised that we should file a restraining orders, and this was given to me by the city of Salinas officials. So at the last board meeting, at the last city council meeting last week, there were some allegations made about us and which are unfounded and not true, because one of them was Mr. Guerra said that he had been reaching out to me to have a meeting and I had refused, which is a lie because I only had a meeting with him once, and that's because Mr. Bossi put this meeting together. And it was a unproductive meeting. There wasn't anything resolved. And there's another community meeting coming up on the 20th of May, next Monday, at the Montebello cafeteria. And that meeting, I was invited by a city council member, Tony Barrera. So for him to say that he's invited me and that I have refused to meet with him, it's a fallacy. And it just kind of begs the question, what kind of ideas or thoughts or suggestions he trying to bring to our school and trying to make us fall apart and attacking our kids? Now, 2 minutes? All right, sorry, I could speak for her, but that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rojas. We also have Alma Loredo.
Gracias, buenas tardes. Voy a hablar en español. Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva, superintendente Koenig, miembros del gabinete comunidad. Mi nombre es Alma Loredo y hoy estoy aquí representando a la organización BHC Padres Unidos como organizador de padres. Antes que nada, muchas felicidades. Sabemos que Alizal recibirá más de 17 millones en fondos para la implementación de escuelas comunitarias. Este es un gran logro que será en beneficio de todos los estudiantes, las familias y la comunidad. BHC nos sentimos muy orgullosos de apoyar el proceso y queremos continuar haciéndolo, ya que sabemos el valor que tiene ser colaboradores y socios auténticos. Queremos elevar el liderazgo de Julio Castro y Diana García. Este logro es gracias a todo el empeño y la energía que han puesto en el proceso. Gracias a todos aquellos que se han visto involucrados en este gran logro para Lizal. Además de felicitarlos, esta tarde estoy aquí para pedirles que inviertan en el liderazgo de los padres y que ustedes, como las personas que toman las decisiones, estén al tanto de las diferentes oportunidades que hay para padres y que aboguen por ellos cada vez que puedan, ya que todas las decisiones que el distrito tome deben de incluir el componente más crítico para el éxito académico del estudiante, que es el involucramiento auténtico de los padres. Que ustedes se aseguren que hay procesos transparentes y que no son procesos rígidos, que se abran oportunamente a todos los padres las oportunidades para capacitarse y que se pueden planear con tiempo las acciones que nos van a permitir tener crecimiento en las áreas más críticas, que es el involucramiento de padres. Realmente es desgastante para nosotros preguntar por más espacios para padres y recibir como respuestas que faltan los fondos. Nosotros sabemos que hay fondos que se pueden usar para ese fin. Y esta retroalimentación se las damos con toda la intención de que se tome en serio y se concientice.
Good afternoon, board members, Superintendent Koenig, and Cabinet and Community. My name is Alma Loredo. Today I'm here representing BHC Padres Unidos like a parent organizer. Before anything, I want to congratulate you. We know Alisal will receive more than $17 million in funds to implement community schools. This is a great achievement that will be in benefit of all students, families, and community. BHC, we feel proud to have supported the process, and we want to continue doing it because we know this is very worthy to be collaborators and authentic partners. We also want to raise the leadership of Julio Castro and Diana Garcia. This achievement is thanks to all the work they did and the energy they put in the process. Thanks to everyone who has been involved in this achievement for Alisal. In addition to congratulate you today, we're here to ask you to invest in leadership for parents, that you are the people who take the decisions. Please be informed of the different opportunities that exist for parents, and please advocate for them every time you can. All the decisions that the district makes have to include the most important component for the academic success of students, and that is the parent involvement, authentic parenting involvement. Please make sure that there's transparent processes that are not inflexible, so there's opportunities for all the parents who want to become leaders, so that way they can plan with time the actions that will allow us to have growth in the most critical areas that are authentic parental engagement. It's really tiring for us to be asking for more spaces for parents and to receive as answer that there's no funds when we know that there's funds that can be available. These feedback, we are giving them to you with all the intention that please take it seriously and create conscious that the Alisal District is doing to change the culture of parental involvement and the investment you're doing with the most important partner, which are parents, with much respect.
Gracias, thank you. Next person is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, I apologize if I'm not, Azucena Burnos, I believe.
Hola, buenas tardes. Voy a hacer mi comentario en español y si está bien lo puedo traducir después para que todos lo puedan entender. Entonces, hola, buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Susana Barrios y soy la organizadora principal en el área de educación con Construyendo Comunidades Saludables. Y como mi rol es a trabajar junto a Padres Unidos, entonces esta tarde estoy aquí para nuevamente felicitarlos. Nos dio mucha alegría saber que el distrito de Alisal fue uno de los beneficiarios de las subvenciones de implementación para escuelas comunitarias. Hemos tenido el placer de trabajar junto a Julio y Diana y abogar en los espacios locales y estatales Tras el liderazgo de Julio y Diana, hemos sentido un gran sentido de colaboración, pero nos gustaría sentir esto también por parte del resto del distrito. Hemos identificado que un gran reto en el distrito es en estos momentos la inversión en el desarrollo del liderazgo de padres directos de la comunidad que no sean empleados. Y fue desafortunado escuchar que para esta conferencia de escuelas comunitarias que se aproxima no habrá una representación equitativa de padres. Oportunidades como esta aportan al desarrollo del liderazgo de los padres para el aprendizaje y el desarrollo de estrategias como distrito. Como organización y colaboradores hemos traído tiempo con tiempo las conversaciones de la importancia de la inclusión de padres. Es muy importante asegurar que estos padres sean incluidos en las conversaciones, especialmente ahora que comienza la segunda fase, ya que ellos forman un gran componente de los pilares de escuelas comunitarias. Por compromiso, no por responsabilidad, BHC buscó y encontró fondos para poder invertir en los padres y brindarles la oportunidad del desarrollo del liderazgo a algunos padres del distrito de Alisal. Esto no es siempre posible y por esa razón esperamos que en el futuro el distrito asigne fondos para la inversión de los padres ahora que recibirán esta nueva subvención y pues también dejarles saber que estamos aquí como colaboradores y nos gustaría seguir apoyando en el proceso. Muchas gracias por su tiempo. And if it's okay, I can interpret it in English.
That's fine, yes.
Yes. So good evening. My name is Azucena Barrios. I am the education lead organizer with Building Health Communities. And again, we would like to congratulate you tonight as we were happy to see that Alisal District was one of the beneficiaries for the grant with community schools. We've had the pleasure to work alongside Julio and Diana in advocating in spaces locally and statewide. And through their leadership of Julio and Diana, we've gotten a sense of collaboration. But we would also like to feel that from the rest of the district. Throughout this time, we've identified that one of the major challenges that this district is facing is investing in the leadership development of parents, parents that are from the community. And it was unfortunately to see that for this upcoming community schools summit, there wasn't going to be an equitable representation from parents. And we see that these are amazing opportunities for parent leadership development because this is a great space for learning and continue to work together alongside the parents to formulate new strategies that they can bring into the district. And as organizers and collaborators, we've come time and time to have the discussions on the importance of parent inclusion. And it is really important to ensure that parents are being included in these conversations, especially now that we are going into the community schools implementation phase. So it is, and they're a pillar and a great component in community schools. And because of the commitment that BHC has to the community and parents, not because of responsibility, BHC looked for funds to be able to invest in parent leadership and be able to take some parents from the Alisal district to the community school summit. But sometimes we see that this is not always possible. So we hope that in the future, as a district, you would be able to allocate some funds to be able to invest in parents so they are able to take part in these opportunities. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Azucena. Next is Norma Villalobos.
Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva de Alisal. Mi nombre es Norma Villalobos. Fui mamá de un estudiante Alisal y ahora soy tía de estudiantes Alisal. Soy parte del Comité Padres Unidos BC. Llevamos 7 años de abogar en el involucramiento de padres en las escuelas. Formamos locales y también estatales. Nos gustaría mencionar que aprovechen lo de las escuelas comunitarias, ya que permite un enfoque de involucramiento de padres. Los padres son aliados del distrito y incluirlos es una gran ayuda para la educación de nuestros niños. Padres Unidos, estamos aquí y los padres del distrito también. Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Norma Villalobos. I was a mom of a student at Alisal, and now I'm an aunt of a Alisal student. I am part of the Padres Unidos Committee, VHC. We have been working for 7 years advocating in parental involvement in schools at local and state level. We would like to mention that we would like for you to take advantage of what the community schools offer. They allow for a stronger emphasis on parental involvement. Parents are allies, district allies, and to include them is a great help for the education of our children. Padres Unidos are here too, and we are also parents of the district.
Gracias, Norma. We have Gabriela Tinajero.
Good afternoon, board members. As the mother of children playing for Jose Rojas Soccer Club at Monterey County Soccer Club, I would like to voice out my concerns regarding our recent community dispute that's been going on. I want to thank you first also for allowing our kids to practice in school grounds. I think it's a very positive thing for our children, and unfortunately my son hasn't been feeling that positive experience lately due to some of our own community members approaching coaches during practices, photographing our kids, just making them feel a hostile environment, when Jorge Rojas has provided us with all these soccer teams to help the kids focus on a positive thing in their community, and as they grow they focus on positive things. And I don't know why this has become an issue for some of our community members at the Montebella Community Park that we practice, whereas to my child now doesn't even want to go to practice due to the bad experience that he's been having, seeing some adults approaching coaches during practice and just basically making them feel uncomfortable and unease when they should be focusing on what they're there for, to practice. So I just wanted to bring it up to the board to see if we could find a solution where we both could see what's best for our kids. And soccer is not it shouldn't be perceived as anything bad, and it should not be perceived like that towards our kids, when we should be focusing on having our kids experience positive experiences in their own communities. And I hope we can resolve this issue. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Gabriela. Okay, we will now move on to the ending time is 5:53 p.m. We will now move on to association comments. Al South Teachers Association.
Good afternoon, board members and the cabinet and Superintendent Koenig. It's that time of the year. The association would like to recognize our retiree for an amazing career and outstanding service to the students of the Alisal Union School District. Thank you, well wishes to Mr. Terry Anderson, Ms. Wilma Ramirez at Alisal Community, Rosemary Garcia and Cynthia Engler at Creekside, and Rebecca Bishop at Chavez. Have a good evening.
Thank you. We will now move on to the California School Employee Association, Chapter 577.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, and cabinet members. Tonight, I would like to talk about special education department. Special ed department, they have over 1,000 students, and they have translation, like they are behind more than 600, plus the one that is still coming from the IEPs. And they also have more than 170 staff that the office staff needs to interact or work with them and provide assistance, because some they don't speak Spanish, And they have letters that they need to log in, and they need to work with outside agencies, and so many other things that going on aside of like translation. They need to uh, do transportation forms. They need to prepare all the CUMs, the sixth grade information that when they move to the middle school and also the summer school. And it's sad to see that the board has approved a job description for special ed department, secretary to information specialist 3, and that job is not posted yet. And uh, for the director's position, the district right away, they post positions, but not for to help classified. We have schools now that have vacancies on clerks position too, because the salary is low, so people are moving to other district or other jobs. So I think we really need to work and to help for to bring the special ed education up to date and help the staff because they're overload with work and understaffed. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have the United Substitute Teachers Union. We will move on to number 3, presentations. We have a department presentation. Alicia Fletcher, Director of Migrant Education.
Good evening again, board members, superintendent, community, and staff that are here today. Tonight, I'm going to give you a presentation on the LSL Migrant Education Department, what our purposes, the services that we offer, the requirements, and the growth that we've made in the past 5 years. So what you're seeing now on our first slide, this is a summary of Title I, Part C, federal legislation on the requirements and the purpose of migrant education. So we are required to offer programs to migrant students ages 3 through to 21 outside of the regular school day, so not during core curriculum. Obviously, as an elementary school district, we take responsibility for ages 3 through 6th grade. We also are required to ensure that migrant students are not penalized for disparities in curriculum, graduation requirements, and academic standards due to mobility. An example of that would be some of our, over half of the over half of the students in the district that are on the border of getting excluded due to vaccinations, immunizations, things like that, over half of them are migrant. And a lot of that has to do with their mobility. So in collaboration with People Personnel Services, we have an agreement with La Clínica de Salud. So all students, including migrant students, we get kind of a backdoor to make that happen right away. We support students in overcoming obstacles due to school interruptions, cultural and language barriers, social isolations, problems related to health, and other factors that inhibit success in school. So our migrant students are not the same as students of ag families, and that's often a confusion, especially in a district like Alisal, where I believe it's about 80% are children of ag families. The migrant families are also children of ag families, but they're the ones that move. So if they're one of our migrant students, they're moving every 1 to 3 years. And those interruptions in schooling come with a lot of challenges for families and students. So we help them overcome those obstacles and provide them services. We also ensure that migrant students benefit from systemic and local reforms. So how to qualify? These are the main ways to qualify for migrant education. You have to meet these 3 requirements. So a parent or guardian works in agriculture, packing shed, dairy, fishery, or nurseries. Sometimes children reunite with a grandparent. The parents stay behind, but and the parents might not work in agriculture. They might not work at all, but the people they live with do, and they're the primary caregivers, providers in the home that will help them qualify. The student must move with or to reunite with a parent or guardian at least once every 3 years. And these moves must be to work or seek out eligible work for economic necessity. So for example, families that go to Mexico and to save money and they'll leave for several months while the harvest has ended. They go there because they live with family members, they don't pay any money for rent, and they save a lot of money, and then they come back. So these are the three main service areas. INR, which is identification and recruitment of migrant students and families, academic support and outreach, and coordination of social services and outreach. So those three areas are our focus of our MFSAs. So the first one is our 2 recruiters. All 4 MFSAs were here with us, but 2 have little ones that they had to run home to, but the 2 of them are still with us today. We have one of our service MFSAs, Rosa Rivas, and Esmeralda Gonzalez, who's one of our recruiters. And Mary Samarripa, who had to leave, she has a newborn, and Adriana Velasquez. Oh, she's back. Oh, she came back. That's awesome. So she's one of our recruiters. Esmeralda and Mary are new to the department last year. They've done an amazing job. And the growth in numbers that you see in Alisal are due to these 2 ladies and the collaboration of the team. So we have a lot of migrant students, and our neighboring districts do as well. So there's a lot of collaboration. We're required to identify even middle school or high school students if they're siblings to our little ones. They also identify those and collaborate with our neighboring districts on that. Academic support and outreach, that would be Adriana, and she focuses on recruiting students to our various migrant programs, monitoring their attendance to those programs and participation, doing all the tagging and MSIN, which is our state database that we're required to report, and that's what's monitored for compliance. Coordination of social services and outreach is Rosa Rivas. And so she works closely with our FRCs and a variety of community agencies to make sure that families' basic needs are met in the area of health and social services, housing, food, and clothing. And here you see it's our organizational chart. And that's my core team, my MFSAs. And we also have another member who, her mother was rushed to the hospital, so she couldn't make it. That's our migrant program specialist. She's our certificated person, Ana Sandoval. And she was a former lawyer prior to her teaching days, and she is the one that prepared Julio for the state tournament, so it was a guarantee win. So she is awesome, and she coordinates our training for our migrant teachers. She supports in the areas of curriculum. She also helps in grant writing for additional funding and resources, and she's also one of our speech coaches. We also have 16 migrant extended day teachers, 6 migrant intervention teachers, our 4.5 migrant speech coaches, and also 6 migrant ECE teachers. So what you see here are what the state requirements are for school districts. So these are what every district is required to provide to migrant students and families. So 2 parent mental health workshops, 3 parent workshops, and on very specific subjects. It's not just 3 random ones. It talks about navigating US school systems, the A through G requirements, and understanding student achievement. So we take our own spin to these workshops, and our district counselors are our presenters for these workshops. And we work with parents to help them map out a school plan from infancy to high school. What does that entail? How to build positive relationships with your school teachers, how to be an advocate for your child's education, helping them understand that there is no barrier, setting goals, like they write down, we have different projects. Their interactive workshops are really nice. We have one next week here at MLK Family Resource Center, but those are really wonderful workshops. 6 parent advisory council meetings, social service coordination, health, medical, dental, vision, food, and housing and clothing. That is a big one. And these are things that we don't just refer families to, we have to guarantee that a connection was made. If we refer them out to an agency, we do follow-up. Did they go to their appointment? What was the outcome of that appointment? And so it's a full wraparound of support. And only then, once all that has happened, can we as a district claim credit for that in the state database. The same goes for all the academic supports we have to provide after school, intercession, summer, and other opportunities that we can come up with outside of the regular school day. School readiness, in Alisal, formerly known as preschool, but it is not preschool. It's a school readiness program for students, for children and parents ages 3 to 5 who are not yet enrolled in school. And those are very similar to playgroups, but they're credentialed ECE teachers, which are showing parents how to do learning activities at home. It's interactive, it's hands-on. We do 3 rounds of 10 sessions each school year, and that is where migrant ECE teachers come into play. So here, what you're seeing is the growth in numbers over the years. So these are the service targets that you would see in MSIN. Language arts, math, speech and debate, school readiness, and social services. So you can see the growth that we've made, and these are the number of students who participate in these supports each year. The reason in 23-24 that you don't see anything yet is because these numbers aren't finalized until August of next year. So then, except for social services, those are tagged real time. So you can see, and you'll see in later slides, due to our growth in numbers, there's a lot more families needing that coordination of social services, and you see that reflected in the numbers, and the year isn't over. What you're seeing here, the MPOs, which are measurable program objectives, and RSY, which stands for regular school year. These are requirements that the state monitors for compliance, and students that are receiving 30 hours of language arts support, 30 hours of math, and I'll go into the other targets later, but they're very specific targets. And they won't be reflected in these numbers until students complete their 30 hours, which is very challenging. There used to be a requirement of 80% that changed last year to 60%. Because they're very, you can see from these numbers, it's even hard at the state level and the county because the kids aren't around enough to complete that many hours. So it's very challenging. But we are still very proud of these numbers because you can see Alisal in green, where we are in comparison to the state and to the region. So we're doing quite well in language arts for the regular school year, which would be our intercession programs, our after-school programs, and our Saturday programs. And this is the same thing, but for math. So again, Alisal, even though these percentages look low when the expectation is 60%, that's where our MFSAs come into place with ongoing, constant, everyday recruitment. You can ask anybody in Ed Services, that's where we're housed, and my MFSAs are on the phone doing outreach all day long. And these are the MPOs for language arts for summer. So summer is a little different. That's 20 hours of services that they need to complete. But again, we're doing really well when it comes to language arts. And then you see the same numbers for math. And these are our mental health referrals and treatments. That's what this MPO is called, 11.1. The gaps in the numbers of the MPOs, there's several MPOs in between that pertain just to out-of-school youth or to high school districts, which is why there's that gap in numbers. I'm only showing you the ones that pertain to elementary school. So as a state, they do really well. That measurable program objective is met, but we're also doing really well with 58%. You can see it better on this screen because here it's blocked, but here you can see the growth in numbers. And these numbers change every single day. I know for a long time, Alisal tried to figure out what's the math and the magical equation. Nobody really knows, but they change every day and they never match any other database for a variety of reasons. But you're looking at the blue line is our funded number. So this is the P3, so our 3-year-olds through sixth grade, because that's who we get money for. If 3 through 4 and 5-year-olds receive services, then we get funded for them. We also required to identify even babies and through 2-year-olds, but we're not required to serve them. So you'll see these numbers, how they've gone up. These are our recruiters in action. Last year, we brought on a second recruiter, and you can see the difference that it's made. The numbers that, it's not that Alisal has more migrant students all of a sudden, and where are they coming from? They've always been there. But having that additional recruiter builds the capacity of the department to be able to identify them, because each one of these families, there's a lot of legwork that happens and heavy lifting in the background. Now the orange line is our TK to 6th grade. Now these are cumulative numbers. So if you try to find these numbers in Power Schools, you never will. Power Schools is showing you who's there that day. These are cumulative numbers that we get out of MSIN, because families come and go, students come and go. But if they were here at some point during the year, they counted. So there you're looking at 1,425 students that have come through Alisal's doors this year. And we have, I think in Power Schools today, it's 1,060. So you see it's close to 400 that have come and gone throughout the year. And these numbers won't be updated until September. That's when the final count happens. Now here is the totals per school throughout the year. Again, these are cumulative totals. So these percentages are very high, particularly in Frank Paul, for example, that's our highest school. 29% of Frank Paul is migrant, and as a district, 21%. In the past, these numbers were more 12%, 13%, but we're up to 21% of our district is migrant. So that's kind of shows you they're a huge population here in Alisal. We're unique. And then this is our dashboard, I believe. There it goes. And this is where you can see in terms of student achievement, the district percentages, which you've already seen before. But this is the migrant student achievement data on the SBAC for language arts, math, and the LPAC for ELD. So we're not too far behind, but they do need additional support. So some of the highlights for our department is that we continue to make steady and continuous growth. As you can see, our MPOs are ahead of the region and the state in most of the areas. We've been able to serve 78% of our students in the district with academic support. And we have provided social services coordination to 51, well, we're at 51%, but we're not done yet, so that number is gonna go up. And we have the highest migrant school enrollment count in the district. You'll hear that the high school is bigger, but the high school combines out-of-school youth, so students that are not in school, but if you were to take just their middle and high school students actually attending, we are higher. Areas to grow on. As awesome as my team is, like really convincing parents to take advantage of all the supports that is out there, that's an area that we're constantly trying to improve in. We want to increase collaboration with schools on what migrant education is about, how we can support, and how to increase student achievement. Because even though the percentages are very similar, when you break that down by schools, that's when you see huge disparities. In a couple of schools, they're outdoing the average of their counterparts. And in other areas, they're way, way below their counterparts. So they need a lot of help. So we want to work with schools on what are some of the barriers that migrant families, the unique barriers that they're experiencing, and how we can better serve them, or how they can better serve them during the school day. And raise awareness on how migrant funds can be used, supplement versus supplant. You'll hear that always in fiscal talk. What does that really mean? Basically, it means if the district is providing it, we can't provide it. We can only provide what the district does not. So to enhance or provide something completely different. That's basically what that means. Questions?
We'll start with Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you for your all information.
Señora Garcia.
Yeah, thank you for this wonderful presentation. It's It's, and thank to all your staff because, wow, it's a lot of work to go out there and recruit migrant students for our programs and to make sure that we're identifying all those 2-year-olds so that we can also get funding. So you did say something about, well, when the migrant student, some of them go away to Mexico and they stay there months at a time. What are we doing to help them during that time that they're there? Are we providing, it used to be, and I've been in education for a while, and there used to be the PASS program, there used to be packets sent home. Are we doing anything? I mean, now with technology, they could easily log on, I think, if they had Wi-Fi. I'm
So
wondering what we're doing for those students that are technically not enrolled because they left us and, yeah, I don't know.
So we always try to engage them in independent study when we know that a move is going to happen. But more than anything, it's about the return. Because when they return, they've been gone for a while and they need to reconnect. They need to be connected to services, to programs. So we work with our schools and then the programs that we develop. It's more about when they're with us than when they're not.
Okay, so there is such a thing called independent study.
Yeah, it's the district independent study program. So we make sure that they access that as well.
Okay. And so a long time ago, there used to be a program called Yo Puedo. Is that still in existence?
Unfortunately,
Santa Cruz.
for a variety of reasons, Yo Puedo, Avance, that was for middle
Yeah.
schools, those don't exist anymore.
Oh, okay.
Because of the funding, they're very, very expensive programs. And in terms of meeting the requirements for the money that they cost, the region made a decision a long time ago to do away with those programs. But we still have our outdoor ed that we do in partnership with Minicore. And that's something that our sixth graders can access. So we do recruit for outdoor ed during the summer.
Oh, very nice. Well, thank you for all that work you're doing and congratulations to your staff.
Thank you.
Señora Garcia? I'm sorry, Señora Gilpas. Apologies.
Thank you. What a thorough presentation. Thank you, Ms. Fletcher. I did have a question. We don't have to get too much into it, but I know that in the highlights, a big percentage, almost 80% of our migrant students had or received academic support, for 22-23 school year. And in that academic support, you have the intervention teachers, extended day teachers, migrant speech coaches, and readiness teachers. Now, do they work with these students? Am I understanding they don't work with them during the school day?
They do not. They work with them after school. So what you're seeing there is an unduplicated count of students that attended our Saturday, Migrant Saturday programs, or our ESMIA is what it's called, Saturday Migrant Intervention Program, our spring intercessions, and our Migrant Extended Day and speech and debate. And that all of that happens at either after school or on Saturdays.
So during the school day, I mean, there's other resources that we have for students who are not migrant. So during the school day, a migrant student qualifies for other services that aren't after school, just like any other student, right?
Correct.
Oh, okay, good. And it's good to know that our numbers are growing. What would you say it was about 5 years ago? More or less?
So that's in your packet. So 5 years ago, our numbers were at
Is that on that scale?
the
thing?
scale one.
Okay.
Yes, it's right there.
Thank you. Uh-huh. 'cause
But
it's-
yes, some of those disparities in terms of district programs, that's why we want to collaborate more with schools, is a lot of the school programs will happen after students have received a certain amount of instructions, they've done baseline assessment, let's see how they do, and then, okay, they need more help, let's put them in programs. Well, when that happens, by then, a lot of our migrant students are gone because they start leaving in November. And then they don't come back until about March or April, just in time for SBAC. They're like, we're back, and okay, we'll take the SBAC. Sometimes when they leave, they don't go to school, or they're in a different state with completely different standards, different expectations. So those are some of the disparities, and we want to work closer with schools to make sure they get into services right away. Ours start right away at the end of August or first week of September. And getting them into those programs, and also looking if you have a lot of school with a large population of migrant students, considering starting programs for them earlier in the school year.
Well, that's really great to hear. So I would guess that when a student enrolls in the questionnaire on the registration form, I don't know if it says, are you migrant? Because maybe, whoever's filling out the form doesn't understand that. So somebody from the Migrant Education Department will look at the registration form and the questions, the follow-up questions, and then reach out to the family and try to recruit them and give them the services. I'm sorry to hear that not all parents are taking advantage of the services. What are you doing to, I think you mentioned a little bit, to make it change so that more families.
So it's lots of outreach. So even though, like, yes, we do data entry into the state database, Power School, and we monitor InfoSnap, the questionnaire definitely helps, but we essentially call everybody and we look at different patterns. We look at their attendance in Power Schools from last year, the year prior, the different codes. We look at their entry and leave dates. When are they enrolling and unenrolling? Oh, this guy probably qualifies, regardless of what they put on the questionnaire. So our recruiters actually call everybody, and then they have their whole speech on all the supports that we offer and why they should be a part of migrant education, how we can help them. You'll always hear, I'm going to pass you to my compañera Rosa or my compañera Adriana, depending on what the identified need is, and then we immediately connect them to a service. And then the two service MFSAs are the ones that are constantly following up. Hey, you said you were going to come and you were going to come next week and it didn't happen. And what can we help you? What are you struggling with? Let's figure it out, but your child really needs help. And that's one of the areas we want to collaborate more with the schools on as well, because they know their schools and their teachers more than they know us. So working with schools to really focus on those kids and get them in our programs.
Thank you. And my last question, is there a migrant parent support? Well, I don't want to have to say support group, but just a migrant parent group, or they?
So we have our Parent Advisory Council, which consists of one elected parent rep from each of the school sites. But more than anything, those support groups come out of our parent workshops. Like I said, they're very interactive. And we talk about parent networking and how to help each other and kind of show, we show slides of some of our many of our administrators and many of the professionals, including one of our cabinet members, a migrant student, because sometimes they see it as my kid, college, no, with all these, obstacles that we have. It's like, no, this is how many administrators are immigrants. This is how many administrators were part of the migrant program. They could do it. We will even show family pictures from some of our administrators. They say, look, they look the same as you, don't they? There they are with all their siblings. There's no difference. It's just providing those loving, nurturing environments, whether you can read or write, and making education a priority, and they too will succeed. And so our parent workshops, that's what we talk about a lot. Family mental health, how to identify it, how to get support. So that's where you see more of those things happen.
Well, thank you for sharing. And we have under your leadership and that of Mrs. Anzo, we have a strong migrant program at LSL Union School District. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Fletcher, for your presentation. Now we will move on to presentation, project and program overview of the proposed District Performing Arts Center. Rais Abbasi, Associate Superintendent of Business Services.
I control that, right? Okay. Good evening. Trustee Ocampo, trustees, Mr. Koenig, cabinet. We are going to present today or update a presentation that we made in June last year. And that was about building a new performing arts center here in our own school district. There's a need for a new performing arts center at LSL Union School District. The reason is we have some very valuable programs going on in our district. So we want to create a center which is going to be state of the art with all the new technology, with all the new features that we can have. And that is going to promote and inspire our students. The goal is to have live performances and also a space to store our uniforms, musical equipments, and everything that we have. These are some of the programs that we offer to our students: mariachi, folklorico, drumline, and color guard. And these programs actually represent our district, and they show how much we can do with our educational programs and how we can inspire our students. With that in mind, we are going to use a space at Montebello Elementary School, which is currently vacant. There's nothing there. It's on the corner of Tuscany and Freedom Parkway, as you can see in this map. This is aerial view of the map that Performing Arts Center is going to be. After that, we can go in a little detail how that is going to look like. The green space here is going to be the storage, because we need tons of storage for this new Performing Arts Center. But the blue area that you see in this picture, that is going to be the stage. That is going to be the performance area. And the good thing about this blue space is it does not have a fixed stage. It's going to be a flexible stage which can be at any point. Seating is all flexible as well. We can arrange and rearrange seats and chairs any way we want. It's a pretty large space. It's about 8,000 square feet, and it can seat about 200 people. This map also shows that we are going to have a ticket booth or ticket master in case we want to have a performance which is going to be a paid performance. It's going to have a lobby. It's going to have very nice available restroom space. It's going to have control rooms and everything that you can have in a very nice Performing Arts Center. This is how it's going to look like. And I think that represents a very good picture. Basically, in today's presentation, we are revealing the design of the new Performing Arts Center that we are going to have at Montebello Elementary School. That's a location, but that is going to be under central office control. The district office is going to manage and administer and control this Performing Arts Center. This is northwest corner of that Performing Arts Center. This is northeast view of that Performing Arts Center. This is southeast view of the new center that we want to build. And this is what we call a bird's eye view, how it's going to look like in the center or at the location of Montebello Elementary School. You can see the admin building, you can see different classrooms, you can see child care center. Everything is very nicely visible in this picture. Just to mention that when we presented the idea last year, at the same time, we engaged ISA architects, in-studio architects, to design the new Performing Arts Center. And today in our audience, we have Alex Reynoso. He is the brain of this design. So later on, when we have any questions, we can get his help to answer those questions for details. Timeline. So we began the concept and the development of the concept and the design last year. At this point, we are going through the designing phase of that center. But our goal is to complete the construction by June 2026. That's our guideline, that's our roadmap. Complete that by June 2026. Funding is one of the factors that we must have. We are, at this point, estimating that it's going to cost $7.8 million to construct this new Performing Arts Center. we are able to slate out $2.4 million from music and arts block grant. We have set this money aside. Supplemental and concentration grant is going to provide 3.6 million. And we can use some other building fundings in about $1.8 million amount, altogether $7.8 million. So basically we have space, we have funding, we have design, we have all the ingredients to make it happen. With that, we are open to answer any questions you may have. And as I said that, Mr. Reynoso is also available to answer any of the technical questions we may have.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, we'll start this time con la señora Gilpas, if she has any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ocampo. What an awesome building. Thank you, Alex Reynoso and in studio, because I know for a long time LSL's had a great relationship with you in the work that you've done for LSL. So thank you and congratulations on this. Very exciting to know that we have the funding for it. In the future, I'd like to ask, as we add these, this is an awesome, I support it 100%. Who's going to clean the building?
We will address that when we open the building, but we will have custodians who will be available to clean the building.
So, because most of these events, they will not be taking place during the day.
Right.
They'll be taking place. So are you thinking overtime for our current custodians? Or, I mean, it's something we have to think about because we have
Right.
these buildings, we have all these things we create, and then we need staff, we need classified staff.
Right,
support
we
staff.
will, this will be, once we bring the building online, this is not going to be a full-time custodian. I think it would probably be a 0.5 FTE, maybe in the morning, in addition to the custodian who does the daytime work at Montebello. So, but this is something we'll do down the line for school year 26, 27, when this facility will actually be coming on board.
Thank you, Mr. Koenig. I think it's important to think about that in the future. Awesome, thank you.
We'll move on to la señora Garcia. If you have questions.
No, thank you for the presentation. Is that the name of the building? Have we decided? Is it going to be the LSL Center? Is that LSL Theater? Is that what it's going to be called?
No, that's a provisional name. You know, there is a policy on how we name buildings in LSL.
Sure.
And when we get closer to the opening of this facility, we will go through the process to identify a name for the Performing Arts Center.
Okay, so it's not. I mean, it's not. That's just a rendering of the name right now. It's
For
just like
now,
we're
yes.
sold-
We, at one time, it said Black Box. It's just a provisional name until the board takes a decision to name it something else.
And will it have all those like the, what is that? The Aztec calendar and the little Ulivity?
No, those
The
are.
hummingbird. Is
okay,
that going to
tho-
be on there too, or?
Those are, we figure that these are giant walls that are going to have something on them.
okay.
So this again is a provisional picture, but we'll make it, after the facility is on board, we will propose a picture that will be painted as a mural on the side of these buildings.
Just to add something that Mr. Koenig has been guiding us with many things. For example, in the beginning, we have different color scheme, but Mr. Koenig said that the building should mesh with the surroundings, especially the elementary school. So we changed the color scheme, and the walls had no pictures. So Mr. Koenig had an idea that maybe we should have something cultural to reflect the school district and the community that we represent.
Very nice. It looks really wonderful.
Yes.
Just a comment, like 200 people, that's not very many people, right? Is that like how many we have right now, or 100 people right now? Like
Right
200
now, we
people?
don't have a performing arts center, so we can accommodate 0 people.
Mhm.
But once this is built, it'll be available for our Prop 28 VAPA program, which is going to be starting for this new school year. They will be, in the interim, they'll be having their performances in just the multipurpose rooms, which don't have any more seating, but the focus here is on giving the kids the ability to put on a really professional performance. So it's got dressing rooms, it'll have provisions for putting together scenery, for putting together, the audio systems inside this box so that, the parents can go in and watch their kids in a live musical, singing away Cats or the Phantom of the Opera. We don't know what they're going to do. We've got a lot of time to plan it, but it'll be something that during the period that the performance is going on, maybe 3 or 4 days, 800 people can go.
Oh, I see. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Señor Jiménez.
No questions, but thank you for your presentation, Mr. Abassi.
Thank you. Yeah, the building is beautiful. I'd vote for it the way it's demonstrated there, and that Aztec calendar and the hummingbird and the butterfly. I'd go for that. I'm glad that we're getting different options, and we'll pick one. But the way it is right now, I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I think that I think it's wonderful what we're doing, because I think that a lot of times young children, at 7, 8, or 9 are born with certain gifts, like the gift of playing an instrument. And if you capture that gift early enough, then that young person usually maximizes on that gift. But if you don't capture that gift, sometimes when that young person who can play an instrument at 18 or 19, if they didn't develop that gift, they lose it, and they're no longer able to play. So I think it's so important to find what are the gifts that our children have, and focus on those and develop those at a young age, so that all those neuron connections in the brain happen, and that gift just takes off. And I think we're hopefully because of this box and because of our many programs, hopefully we're going to see future musicians, future actors, but also, future people. We might motivate our students to become professionals in the entertainment field, because, the entertainment field is more than just actors and musicians. You have people that set up the lighting, you have people that set up stages, you have writers, you have composers, you have sound technicians, you have all these jobs that kind of branch out in the entertainment industry. And that box might be a place where some of our students, as they see someone maybe setting up the stage or doing the sound technicians working, they might get motivated and say, hey, I want to do that. So I think it's a great thing we're doing. I'm very happy to see this. I think it's going to be a great motivator. So, and I want to thank Mr. Abassi and also Mr. Koenig, and also Señor Reynoso, our architect, for working together on all of this. So gracias. Thank you very much. Okay, we move on to any board member reports? Sí, señora Aguilvas.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to share that I was able to go with Mr. Koenig to present the Luminaria Awards to some of our teachers and classified staff, and that was very exciting. And then attended for the county, some of our teachers were nominated. Aida Estrada as Teacher of the Year. She didn't win it, but she was nominated, as well as I couldn't remember who the classified person was, but we had several classified. She was from the food department. Do you remember her name, Mr. Koenig? Does anybody remember who that was? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Yeah, there was somebody from the food service. Miss Medina from the food service department was also nominated. So it was really nice to be there and share their recognition on a county level. Also, we want to recognize that Classified Week will be May 19th through 25th. We already had the Teacher Appreciation Week, and teachers were appreciated. I think they got a burrito. Was it last Wednesday or something?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We
Which
had
was
the
also-
burritos,
Uh-huh.
the teacher appreciation breakfast on May the 8th.
Good. You know what Mr. Porras did at Frank Paul? I want to give him a shout out. He made tacos. He didn't get a taquero. He made tacos for all of his staff, and it was really, really nice. I got to go there because I pick up my granddaughter, so I got to eat also. He invited me, and it was really nice. So I wanted to say thank you to Mr. Porras. And also this month, we'll be celebrating Asian American and Pacific and Islander Heritage Month and also Mental Health Awareness Month. So we want to recognize that. And just one last note, I just wanted to say to the community, especially to parents, sometimes we get emails from parents and we don't respond. It's okay, I think, to say, okay, I have your email or thank you, but we're not trying to be mean as board members. We don't respond because we give those emails to the appropriate staff who it's their jobs to know how to answer those questions. So we don't, just want parents to know that. We don't answer that. A while back, we had someone who was a little upset that we didn't answer. And actually, Mr. Koenig did answer that email. And some questions we can't answer when they're asked because they're personnel issues. And we have our attorney here that knows that we're bound by certain laws as to what we can and can't say. So we have to be very careful, but it's not that we don't want to answer. But the appropriate staff will get back to you. And also when you comment, we love it when parents are here and share their comments with us. Like Ms. Laredo, she does a great job. Padres Unidos, BHC does a great job. But as it says on the form that we fill out, it says the district doesn't respond at this time. It's not that we don't want to, but we have other agenda items, or else sometimes we have a lot of parents and there's no time. But we will ask the appropriate cabinet member or department head to answer the parents. So please don't feel that you're not being answered or ignored. It's not that. It's just that the meeting has its process. We have to follow it. And then we're bound by a lot of things we can and can't answer as board members. So I just wanted to share that, but we're always reading our emails. If you want to call us or whatever, but we are limited in what we can say, but we invite it. And I mean, we work for you and your children. So I just wanted to share that because I don't want any hurt feelings out there. Like you're talking and we can't say anything. I mean, we want to say a lot, but we're bound by board protocols. But please keep coming and sharing, and we will always listen to you. Thank you so much.
Any other board reports?
So, yeah, I too attended the recognition dinner for the Teacher of the Year and the Classified School Employee of the Year, May 10th. That was last Friday. And I'd just like to read who we nominated. I think Ms. Guilpas got them all except for maybe a few. So from LaSalle Elementary, the Teacher of the Year was Aida Estrada. That's who we nominated. Although she didn't win, you know, we were so proud of her. And also from the Clerical and Administrative Services, Maribel Caldera. From Food and Nutrition, Matilda Medina. And from Transportation Services, Viviana Hernandez. It's such a wonderful opportunity to have our classified and certificated students recognized. It was a great event, and we're very privileged to attend for the past couple of years and see that LSL employees shine. So yeah, and ditto what Mrs. Guilpas said about classified and certificated the recognitions at the end of the year. Is Classified Week, Teacher Appreciation Week, Admin even Week. So there's a lot of celebrations towards the end of the school years. And so we really do want to thank you all for your service, and we're very proud of all of you. Thank you.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay, Mr. Koenig, do you have any reports?
Yes, I do. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that we had two of our teachers recognized by the high school district. Each year, the high school district invites the teacher who has been most influential in the educational careers of the valedictorians and salutatorians of the high schools. And this year, Alma Garcia from Frank Paul Elementary School was selected as the most influential educator by Eileen Cardenas, the valedictorian of Alisal High School. You can applaud. She really did something great. And Ana Castillo was identified. She's an AUSD instructional coach now. She was selected by Odalis Shavira Quezada, who is the salutatorian of Everett Alvarez High School. And look, two outstanding teachers have had a great impact on two outstanding students. This is terrific.
It's always heartwarming when our young people do well, and I guess you can't do better than being the valedictorian of a school. So kudos to our former students and also to our present teachers. Okay, we will then move on to the consent agenda. So I'll need a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
So
Make a
moved.
motion. Oh, Ms. Gilpas first.
Okay,
Second.
Ms. Gilpas, motion made by Ms. Gilpa. Is there a second?
Yes.
Okay, second by El Señor Jimenez. Any comments or questions on the consent agenda? Sí, señora Leticia.
I just have a question about J. So ACAN or whatever, Alisal Community Arts Network, it did say that they provided piano lessons. What schools have pianos? Or is there, it said piano / marimba, but I wasn't sure. I have not gone to marimba, they use the marimba. Do they provide because on that contract it says piano / marimba, and I go, oh, I haven't gone to piano recital yet. I'm interested to see which. Oh. So at this point, there's no piano, it's just, okay. Okay, well, that was my question. Yeah, that was my question.
Any other questions? Oh, señora Gilpa.
Thank you. I had two item H, the conference for Corwin teacher clarity playbooks certification. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what that is, please, Mrs. Anzo?
Yes, so this would actually, it's a 2-day workshop, and Ms. Porter, Curriculum and Instruction Director, and I will be attending so that we get certificated. We have our coaches that have attended. They're certified to be able to provide this workshop in-house.
Okay, so I think, I'm sorry. So what is Clarity Playbook?
So the Teacher Clarity Playbook is a way to deliver a lesson through the PLC process. So the teachers are able to say, this is the standard I'm teaching. This is how I know the student's going to be successful. And these are, so those are the success indicators. And so they have a process that takes them through a cycle of continuous improvement. Presenting the standard, teaching it, and then at the end, checking to see if they met the success criteria.
Thank you. And my other question is on key ratified contract on the Easter seals. So I know that have this contract because we don't have LSL staff that are qualified to service some of these students. But I remember years ago, we had to let go of the Easter seals because there were so many. I think it was becoming a financial burden to the district. And so my question is, what is it that the district is doing to train our own so that we don't have to outsource to Easter Seals? Or are these students that were not qualified to service?
Right now, we don't have any employees who are qualified to do this service. This could be a paraprofessional who's trained by either our own nurse or trained by a local nurse to provide the service. But we've explored it, but we haven't had the time to review this to the point where we're ready to bring this function in-house. But it is something we will do eventually.
That was all. Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, very good. Then, let's see, we'll go on to the vote. So Ms. Koenig, if we could do a line vote?
Yes, Ms. Gilpus Pereira, Mr. Ocampo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
That's 4 yeses.
Very good. Passes unanimously. Very good. We will then move on to number 6. Now, number 6 is information only. It's the community school implementation grant plan by Mr. Castro, Jay Castro. I don't know if there's any questions from the board on that?
I would point out that included in your, in the package, which is available online, is an outline for a budget for how the money, the $17.1 million that we're going to receive will be spent over the next 5 years. This money has to be spent by June 30th of 2029. So we need to get to work spending it, and we need to make sure there's zero left by midnight on June 30th of 2029. We've come up with a plan that will place a coordinator, a classified management coordinator, and a parent education specialist at each one of the schools in the community center that will be established at each one of the schools. And there will also be a director of the community school program and a secretary. So we're talking about 26 people will be hired and will work under the auspices of this program for 5 years, beginning on July 1st of this year. And we're still in the process of identifying where the community centers at each one of the schools will be located. And at a couple of the schools, it's pretty straightforward. If you go to Fremont Elementary School, they've got the old kinder area that's right on Market Street. It can be accessed without disturbing the classes throughout at the school. So that's pretty clear. That's where this facility will go there. At the other schools, it's not quite that clear. So there may be a requirement to move portables that are becoming available due to the finalization of the construction of other schools and or repurpose other facilities. But this is going to be, it's probably going to take us 6 months to really put the program together. But once the program is together, we think that this will be a fantastic boon to our students, our parents, and the community members in East Salinas.
This question.
Yeah, I think it was more of a comment instead of a question. So another high school district had some kind of meeting last week and they discussed community schools. And I don't know if Mr. Castro was invited to that meeting and was present at the high school district. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, just to make sure Mr. Castro's the one taking the lead as far as representing the district when it comes to community schools and going outside into the community, correct?
Mr. Castro is, when we got the planning grant, based on the funding that was provided, we hired Mr. Castro as the coordinator for community schools. And as we go forward, I'm sure there will be 12 coordinators. There'll also be a director in charge of this program. So he's been doing all the work. He's been going to all the meetings. He's been conducting community meetings in Alisal to get input on what the community would like to see in the community schools. He's done a great job. And he's also met with our DLAC. He's been very busy and he's been very effective. So we're
Thank you. And I've heard that. And I think, I don't know who was there at that meeting or I didn't even know you were there, but we just don't want to cause any confusion out there as to who, and it's not like, I'm the boss and everybody needs to know I'm in charge. No, because it's a team effort, especially with parents, other people from our staff that were involved in even getting this grant. But we don't want to make it confusing to community members as who the go-to person is. And I just wanted to clarify that it's Mr. Castro. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Other questions, comments?
So just to be clear, so we're gonna hire 26 more people, and each of the sites will get 2 people. And one of the positions that are gonna be going is, it's gonna be another coordinator. So right now, we only have one. One is our only coordinator for the,
right.
coordinator for community schools. But in the near future, we're gonna be hiring 26 more coordinators or 13
No.
more?
There will be one director with a secretary, and then at each school site, there will be a coordinator and well, this is what we're recommending. That's why we're talking to the board about it now. At some point in the future, we'll be coming back with a request for more positions, director, secretary, 12 coordinators, one for each one of the school sites, and 12 parent education specialists, one for each one of the school sites.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Senor Jimenez? Okay, very good. We will then move on to number 7, which is human resources, and this is an actionable item. No, I'm sorry. This my error is a public hearing. We have a United Substitute Teachers Union, Salinas Valley Federation of Teachers, Local 1020, USTU Sunshine, proposal for the 24-25 through 26-27 school year. And I will open the public hearing at 6:58. And I guess I will close the public hearing at 6:58. Okay, B is also a public hearing. It's an initial sunshine proposal from the Alisal Union School District to the United Substitute Teachers Union for the 24-25 through 26-27 school year. And I will open the public hearing at 6:58. And close the hearing also at 6:58, apparently. Okay, number C, this is an action item. It's an initial sunshine proposal from the Alisal Union School District to the United Substitute Teachers Union for the 24-25 through 26-27 school year. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a
on this
motion.
item? A motion made by Mr. Jimenez. Do I have a second? Second
I'll
made by La Señora Garcia. Any comments or questions? Okay, Mr. Koenig, can we do a line vote, please?
Ms. Gilpus Barrera, Mr. Ocampo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Okay, item C, I'm sorry, item D, action item, request for new position school, I'm sorry, it's a request for new position school social worker. One of FTE, do I have a motion for the item?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by
Second.
La Señora Garcia, is there a second?
Second.
Oh, sorry, seconded by Señora Jimenez, any comments or questions? Yes, Señora Gilbas?
So how many do we have now? How many social workers?
We
Three.
currently have 3.
Okay, so why do we need a fourth one? I mean, I think we do, but can you share with us?
It's part of, the biggest reason is this is part of our plan to help Barton Elementary School get out of CSI, the adverse status they have currently with the State Board of Education.
So this social worker will be full-time at Barton? Thank you.
Okay, very good. Any other comments or questions? No? Okay, very good. Then, Ms. Koenig, can we please do a line vote?
Ms. Gilpis Pereira, Mr. Ocampo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Okay, very good. We move on to Administration Services, action item, revision to Board Bylaw 9223, filling vacancies. Do I have a motion? Motion made by
Second.
La Señora Gilpa, seconded by La Señora Garcia. Comments or questions? Okay, Mr. Koenig, a line vote, please.
Ms. Gilpis Pereira, Mr. Ocampo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Very good. So move on to 8B, which is action item, adopt resolution 2324-31, resolving to take all necessary steps to make a provisional appointment to fill the trustee area 1 vacancy not later than June 21, 2024. Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Jimenez, a second. Seconded by La Señora Gilpas. Questions, comments? Mr. Koenig, a line vote, please.
Ms. Gilpis Pereira, Mr. Ocampo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
8C, action item, agreement, County of Monterey Department of Elections for the provision of election services in November 2024. Motion?
I make a motion.
Motion made, La Señora
Second.
Garcia, seconded by Mr. Jimenez. Questions, comments? Line vote, please.
Ms. Gilpis Pereira, Mr. Ocampo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Okay, last item, no, so not the last, but number 9 is future agenda items, and they're listed there for your review. I don't know if there's any comments or if people want to add an item at this time. Okay. We'll move on to future meetings, and again, future meetings are for your review. Any comments on this item? Okay, and we will move on to 11, which is public comments, a closed session, agenda items only. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There's no ceding of one's time to other individuals. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on closed session agenda items may do so at this time. Starting time is 7:03. And ending time is 7:03. So we now adjourn to closed session at 7:03. Or 7:04, sorry. Okay. We'll take a break now. After a 10-minute break, closed session will begin promptly at, what is that, about 7:13 or 7:14 or so?
7:14.
7:14. Thank you. nice calendar, yeah. Yeah, it's a calendar. Oh, sorry. Okay, we will reconvene now to open session. Time reconvened is 8:37. And we do have some reportable action. On a vote of 4-0, the board appointed Angelica Pulido to program manager. Marisol Pios Oros was appointed to principal, and Rosa Carranza was appointed to assistant principal, effective immediately. Congratulations. And we will now adjourn, meeting adjourned at 8:38 p.m. Thank you, everybody, and good night.